Hey everybody, Carson here, checking in for another one-man review. Today I have a new release from, as far as I know, it's called Digital Manga Press, but this says it must be their Platinum Manga subdivision, which would be the stuff they're actually printing. This is Osamu Tezuka's Record of the City of Glass. They've been printing a lot of Tezuka stuff that has never been printed in English before, as far as I know, which is obviously super exciting. And so I've been excited to get some of these. This is the first one I've been able to get. The production of the book is kind of just like a regular little paperback book that you would like pick up. Almost feels like a textbook cover. So that's not the best. And the paper's, like some recycled paper, but it's fine. It's like a normal kind of manga production. It feels like the spine might be a little chintzy with the glue, but it's fine. It's great to get this stuff in print. The print quality is pretty good. There's a little bit of fill on the lines, like the finest lines obviously have darkened up a little bit, but uh, it's still a pretty good print of his work, and it's an exciting thing to have. So I look forward to getting more stuff from them. This story in particular is set in the far off future of 1992. I think it said that the work was made in originally in 1970, 1972, something like that. So the far off future. I always love when, I think Sean and I talked about this with Fist of the North Star as well, where they're set in these far off future of something that's long ago for us now. It's about a society in which people have been cryogenically frozen, and specifically a family that has been cryogenically frozen, and the father has done that to help grow wealth for his family, and then society has outlawed it at some point, but this family's continuing to do it. Um, it's surprisingly dark. I like Tezuka better, actually, when he goes dark. Like the book Dororo is also very dark. This one, like the horrific drawing right here of the mother having been frozen too much and then shattered. Um, that's kind of the setup for the story. Then this character, it's also a very sexual book, which is just odd if you're familiar with like Astro Boy or something like that to see. And his work still has that very cartoony, childish quality to it. So I don't know, it makes it more uncomfortable for me when there's violence or sexuality in it. It feels like watching a perverse cartoon. But this character right here has been frozen for a long time, and the other family members have been waking up. So he's lost 20 years of his life. Here he is sleeping with his niece, who has been growing up faster than he has. So they're about the same age now. And it pretty much becomes a story of this guy, trying to not go back into the cryo freeze and enjoy his life in his 20s, but he's kind of always on the run. I don't want to give away too much. This page here again was another one that it's just so gross, like this big old hole blown through this guy, and then he like falls over all floppy. So there's some real awesome shocking moments like that. Tezuka's obviously just such a master comic artist that I want to see anything he does. It's just there's always some moment like this. There's always beautiful drawing. I love how he always has, I'm assuming it's a studio doing the realistic backgrounds behind his cartoony work. That's a look I always like. Something I don't like so much about this book is it takes on, as it goes, a more episodic feel. Like, I feel like the thread of what made the story premise interesting gets lost. Like, at first it's about this family dealing with the fallout of the cryogenic freezing that their dad's putting them under. As it goes, it starts to focus more on this character here, the brother who's been frozen for 20 years, just trying to live his life. He's obviously becomes involved in criminal activities and stuff, and so like in this episode, it's like a purge movie almost, where now that he's a prisoner and he's been sentenced as a murderer, now he's let loose into society. It's kind of like a Running Man thing too. He's been let loose into society, where like now anyone in society can chase him down and kill him because he's been scented as a murderer. They spray a scent on him, and it takes on these weird episodic things like that where Tezuka's trying to predict something about the future in a way, or dealing with some vision of the future, but they all feel very kind of odd and sticky and schlocky, and they don't tie together as much as the story goes. Um, so I wasn't really into that. Here's another instance of the sexuality of the book. So there's a big orgy scene, and he meets this woman creature thing that's been frozen for 2,000 years, so she's some other species, and they have a relationship. I was interested in the tail there, looking kind of like the tail from Black Hole, how the girl in that comic has the little vestigial tail that the character obsesses over. Here we have the stuff in the book that's more interesting to me, the familial stuff. So the mother is with the four children who are still in the glass mansion. She's explaining to the family how they got into this situation, even though the cryogenics have been outlawed because people were using it to evade taxes, and build wealth. The father's been using it to stash cash and um, grow the interest on it and make the family wealthy that way. But I like this description she has here about why he was doing this, and she's describing it was a time when people were crazy about new technology, like 30 televisions. They would buy up psycho screens and cybernetics as soon as they came out because they were worried about being behind the times, and your grandfather was just another one of those people. Um, I like that because that's the part that felt most contemporary to me, is this rush to always get the new iPhone, the rush to always get the new gadget. That seems to be the closest prediction he had in the book, and just dealing with like the fallout of your father getting caught up in a societal trend like that seemed most interesting to me. Then this is my real criticism of this, and I read carefully after reading it because I thought maybe I just wasn't careful in reading the promotional material when I purchased this. This book feels, and that episodic nature of the stories, like the story kind of falling apart, feels like Tezuka lost interest in it, or he didn't know where it was going, or it wasn't doing well in whatever magazines it was coming out, and it just feels like less and less work is being put into the story as it goes. At the beginning, it feels like a very mature, interesting exploration of a theme, and that falls apart into these episodic things. And then as you're getting towards, you got a book that's 220 pages and you're at page 200 and you're thinking there's no way all of this wraps up. And sure enough, the brother that's trying to live out the 20 years of his life that he's lost, and his weird 2,000-year-old tail lady lover get pulled in by the government to go on a mission to blow up the glass castle and kill all the other people that have been in this illegal cryogenic program that are in this building. And it's just such a quick scene. It's like, all right, we're gonna climb a mountain, and there we are peeking at this building with the soldier, and you expect them to like break in or something, but they kind of just run up at it from the outside and throw one grenade and blow up the whole building, and then he's like jumping into the building like he's going to do something, and it just says record of the glass castle end. So it just feels like a totally unfinished work. Now, I'm not against people publishing unfinished works. I mean, obviously with The Strange Death of Alex Raymond, we're publishing work that is unfinished by the original author. And with the creator of Tezuka's level, it's great to have as much of their work finished or unfinished. It doesn't really matter. It's good to have that on record, and it's nice to have it on record in English. But it wasn't really advertised as such. And again, I look at the back and it just kind of presents it as a complete story and the little synopsis. So it made the reading experience. This is a really beautiful page. It also printed really beautifully. Some of them print better and some of them don't. But anyways, it made the reading experience a bit of a letdown because it started to feel like, okay, I know there's no way this is gonna wrap up. It feels like he's rushing the story. So I would be critical of the writing aspect of it. Like I said, with Tezuka, there's always something to learn from the art, and this is a pretty good reproduction. Pages like this reproduce really well. All the little details show up. Other pages, the work gets a little clogged up. But if you're a fan of Tezuka, this is totally worth owning. If you're in it to get a full, complete story, I would say skip this one and get some of his completed works. It's thematically starts out interesting and then kind of falls apart into these weird little bizarre predictions of what the future that don't seem to be particularly aware of where technology is going. So, thanks for joining me.